Hi guys, so here I am back again. Had to wait a couple hours, but look what happened. Huh. This one, flask 1, which had the yeast, which is a single-celled organism that does anaerobic respiration called fermentation, and it produced carbon dioxide gas. Used the sugar and no oxygen, and made carbon dioxide gas and ethanol. So before I told you you use yeast when you bake bread, so does that mean ethanol, which is alcohol, is in your bread? Oh no. That ethanol boils out when you bake it because it's got a really low boiling point. That's the beer and the bread industry, beer and wine, they use that process, but they keep the alcohol in because they want that in there. But bread, they bake it out. But they both use the process of making carbon dioxide. Actually, the beer and wine industry don't need so much of the carbon dioxide. They like the ethanol or alcohol. The bread industry wants the carbon dioxide to make the bread dough rise so it's fluffier. All right, so we got some gas in flask 1. In flask 2, the one that was boiled, looks like the yeast didn't like being boiled. It didn't make any gas. And here's my control. And the funny thing about the control is there is just a little bit of gas in here. Well, that yeast probably did just a little bit of fermentation because it's alive. So in order to be alive, so when it's dry like this, it's not doing anything. When you add water to it, it brings it back to life. And so it woke up and was hungry. So it was trying to eat whatever it could, which wasn't much because I didn't give it any sugar. So it did produce a little bit of carbon dioxide. You can't really tell, but there's a little bit of gas in there. Remember, that was my control one. Okay, so fermentation, the process of taking the glucose, in this case I use sugar, and breaking it up to release the energy that's stored there. And one of the products is carbon dioxide gas. And remember, I said in your cells will do that too when they run out of oxygen. It's called lactic acid fermentation. And I talked about how when you go for a run and you you start breathing really heavy because your cells are running out of oxygen. And they're producing lactic acid. And one of the things that lactic acid can do when it builds up in your cells is cause those cramps. And that's your body's way of saying, oh my gosh, hey stupid, you gotta stop running because I need oxygen. Because you stop and you get those side stitches, those cramps. And as soon as you stop, you go, so you pull in lots of oxygen, and then your cells can switch back to regular cellular respiration, which produces lots more energy. Yeast, they're tiny, they're single-celled. They don't need a lot of energy. So they don't need to go through the whole process of cellular respiration. You're bigger. You need to do the whole process of cellular respiration so you can get lots of ATP out of your glucose. Okay, so fermentation, anaerobic respiration. Hopefully you enjoyed this lab today. Bye. Miss you guys.